Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'll be reviewing the Kia Seltos. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Sander Kia here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Seltos. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, just ask for Brian. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes to an IVT. Fuel economy is 27 around town and then 31 on the highway, with power outputs being 146 horsepower and then 132 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see how there's kind of like divots there on either side. Kia logo front and center. I like the little turn signal indicators, that's pretty cool looking. And then all this silver trim here on the front is also really sharp. Then you guys can see the fog lights there on either side, and well, that's all for the front. Now on the side here, our tire wheel set up as 215 by 55 by 17 on the front and over in the rear. And you can see here with the wheels, you've got the silver with the blacked out trim. And then I like the fender flare design there. You can see that continues along the side, so it has more of a rugged look. But anyways, here's your full side profile. And taking a look at the key fob here, we've got the Kia logo with the remote start function, lock and unlock. Ooh, we got the opening for the hatch as well. Now popping into the rear, we've got this little cargo cover in the back. And then there's quite a bit of storage space. Again, this is a compact crossover, but still pretty dang practical. Got the spare tire and everything underneath as well. So yeah, pretty good storage area. When you're all done, just press this button up top and that'll lower the hatch right back down. Pretty cool taillight design if you ask me, and how it kind of goes all the way across to the Kia logo. And you get your 4X badge to let you know that this one's an all-wheel drive version, but there's the rest of the rear. Now taking a look at the door panel here in the back, you guys can see the darker trim and then the silver at the handle, and this is cool, all of that. And then here are these seats, pretty darn nice, all down the center. Quickly pop in. Whoa. Legroom back here, solid. We've got some vents here in the back, USB ports as well. And this does come down a little bit, but headroom's pretty good overall. Now take a look at the front door panel. You can see again with that black trim and then soft touch down below. Got our mirror adjustments, and then again that trim that goes across. Blind spot monitoring. This is nice. Perforated all down the center. Got our adjustments there on the side. You can see with the auto stop start and the stability control. And then it's not soft touch here, but you've got some soft touch down below. Now take a look at the steering wheel. You can see soft touch all around. You got the stitching there in the center. A bunch of practical controls in the front, including our volume and voice command controls. Got our adaptive cruise control with our lane centering. And then traditional stocks on the back. Taking a look at the gauge cluster. Scroll through some different menus, see different bits of info on systems within the vehicle. I guess we'll leave it to the all-wheel drive monitor there. And then with our drive modes, it does a fun little animation for each of them. Backup camera in reverse, trajectory lines turn with the steering wheel, pretty good resolution too. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, pretty quick response time with the screen. So overall easy enough. And then again, this part of the dash isn't soft touch, but then once you go over here, you got that with the stitching, which is pretty cool. Looks like we've got our climate controls right here and some physical controls for the infotainment system too. Little charging area right there. And then drive mode select here with your heated seat controls for the camera, your hill descent, and then that's the all-wheel drive lock right there. Got some cup holders. Yeah, pretty good center console. I like this trim here. It's nice. And then normal glove box, nothing crazy happening with that. And then we do have a sunroof, oops, up top. So 2025 Seltos EX all-wheel drive, $30,655. Sorry, there's a bit of glare. And let's see how it performs. Well, visibility, pretty good. Now the big question is I was getting out going to be. And we do have a backup camera, which obviously always helps out. And resolution on it and the depth perception associated with it aren't too bad. Yeah, not too shabby. Very interesting. It's weird, this side's kind of, and I think it's just because it's so bright outside, this side's a little bit wonky with the camera compared to that side. Yeah, it's weird. It's like the curb is almost invisible on the camera. So I guess there is that. The filter can't handle the brightness. But yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Easy to maneuver. It's a little crossover. So that's always a benefit, especially when you're in a tight place. And I think because the world, or I shouldn't say that, well, I guess pretty much the whole world's becoming more urbanized. Smaller cars like this, I think, are going to make more sense to people. Like if I live in a more rural area, but if I lived in downtown Salt Lake, for example, I wouldn't want to own a really big car because parking would be a pain, and fitting in the parking garages and all of that. It's like everything's more difficult with a bigger car here. So something smaller like this just makes more sense. It does send more power to the front than the rear, kind of expected. Most systems on cars like this are more front biased. Suspension's pretty darn comfortable. I drove a Soul today too. This is more comfortable than the Kia Soul, for those of you that are wondering. When it comes to suspension, that person's not using, okay, they're going straight. I was like, they're not using any turn signal, but they're going straight, makes sense. Yeah, good power initially. Keep going a little bit longer and see how it does. Yeah, it's fun over the train tracks. Yeah, definitely better ride than the Kia Soul. Definitely a better ride. So I'll give it that. Yeah, and braking's, I mean, it's smooth. Smooth how the system goes. Okay, I'm gonna make a turn since this person's yeah, it's a nice smooth system. Sport mode's kind of fun with the animation there. Yeah, so this same road in the Soul, like this, the Soul wasn't doing bad, but you can tell with the SUV suspension setup on this, is what I'll call it, right? A little bit more clearance, a little bit, biggest thing is a little bit more travel over bumps and stuff like this. It's not as firm. So just generally speaking, it's a nice experience. So yeah, they've done a good job. They've done well here. Yeah, not too bad. So I guess to start to sum things up with the Seltos, this is just a great affordable all-wheel drive car. Again, you know, it's got solid fuel economy, and it is, you know, it's a pretty reasonable price point. Not the fastest with this version. Definitely like the turbo version more. I'll get a review on that in the future, but it's also more expensive. But what I see this as is, like, again, you live in a place like this with all four seasons, but you're in the more, you know, urban part, and so things are tighter. And it's like, well, if you don't need the space of a bigger vehicle, why deal with all of the problems associated with a bigger vehicle in terms of parking and worse fuel mileage and all of that? So that's kind of my thought, but let me know what you guys think about the Kia Seltos.